Hello everyone, it's Adam here. I'm just recording a short video to talk about the new change user command, which can be applied to a cell, arriving in Grid 3 in version 80. So this new command, which is available in Grid to apply to any cell, allows someone to independently move between one user and another. And it loads the whole profile of that user, so not just the content, but the access method and settings, the chat history, the calibrations, the prediction, and so on. So it's the same thing as if you were to go up to Grid Explorer and change your user window that way. So let's take a look and see how this is done. So I've set up a couple of different users here so we can demonstrate this. I'm going to go into Fast Talker to begin with, and this is a standard unadulterated version of Fast Talker pretty much. And on my settings screen, I've set up a simple change user jump cell. Let's just jump into a very simple page with two example cells on it. One is going to change to a pub profile, and one is going to change to my standard home profile. So I'm going to come into editing mode and have a quick look at the cell. So you can see that on each of these, there's a new command called change user and a drop down arrow which lets you choose which user you wish to jump to. So you expect to see there are two. And if I was creating that from scratch, I've got a blank cell, choose create a cell, go to the search box and type change user, and the new command will appear. So I'm going to leave this one. I'm just going to change the label and just remind myself that won't change anywhere. So let's have a look and see those in actions, because as you select these cells, a notification will appear to tell the user that you are jumping to a new user. So if I jump here, it says you haven't selected which user to go to, so it's not going to jump anywhere, it's going to stay where it is. If I now want to jump to my pub profile, it will make the change, but also show a little notification to tell me which user I'm in. Now, one of the reasons you might well want to use this particular command is because someone might be using more than one access method, and you want to set up two access methods very cleanly and switch between the two, and you might therefore be using either exactly the same content or slightly uh, tweaked content to better suit that access method. In this case, I can also think about the kind of prediction, the kind of vocabularies I might be using in a particular environment. So remember, I'm in the pub. So for example, in message banking, I might have recorded a couple of phrases that I can then use. And that you don't hear that very often from me. Anyway, if I then go back to the chat page, and then to history, you can see some of the phrases that I might have used recently. If I clear my chat history, you can see I've been talking about the football game. I want a pint. So when I'm in the pub and I type pint, I do want to request from the landlord a pint of your finest ale, please, and that will pop in. So I've got a very pub orientated chat history there. Let's jump back to my home user. So it's really important, by the way, that if you're going to do this with two very similar grid sets or sets of content, that you do have a landing page where someone can change user, and that this is identical on both, and that you have the ability to land on the same user that you're already there, because it will tell you where you are. It'll just remind you that you're already on that current user. So I'm going to change to home now. So I switch to home. I've got now, because it's a completely different user, I've got a different set of access settings and prediction and language settings. So I have got no message banking history here, unlike my pub. If I go to chat and if I go to history, You can also see that I've got some different language that I've been using in the home environment. And if I was using chat, something like chat history, when I start to type pint, you can begin to see that the language I'm using is tailored. I'm no longer asking for a pint of your finest beer, but I have already said we need a pint of milk from the shop. So that's one way in which you might use this. So just to summarize, new command coming in version 80 of Grid, Grid 3 only, not Grid for iPad, simply because Grid for iPad only has one user that you can have running at one time. It's going to allow you to switch between different users that are available on the computer that you're on. And the key features are going to be that it's going to tell you where you are with notifications, but also you're going to be able to launch independently either the same or different content, but with independently created access and prediction and chat history and message banking settings. Okay, I think that's everything for now. Of course, as usual, if you have any questions or queries, please don't hesitate to contact me, adam.waits@thinksmartbox.com, or of course, get in touch with our support